Welcome to my YouTube channel, Tony Suvega. Today is Friday, December 9, 2022, and it is the day of the monkey. Best colors to use: white, all shades of white, light and dark shades of white. Do-it-yourself black and white Feng Shui. Monkey element is yang, male, metal, qian, KUYA, and it represents an older male, aged above 60s or 63 above. When we think of metal, and that is male or yang, we refer to the hard metal or next to white metals like chrome, platinum, stainless, silver, or with that aspect of metal. The other one is yin metal, which refers to gold and a rather softer kind of metal like copper or lead. And it also relates to the position of the older male. So it must be that related to paternal side or patriarchs or patriarchs. Patriarchy, or that which hold the tradition of an institution. Related also to the travel. All kinds of travel. The water, the land, the sea, or the air. So it must be related to the airplane, to the bus, to the ship, to the birds, or that aspects of traveling, aspects of doing with the metals. So if you come to think of that position, we also think of our grandfather or ancestors who are male, or that side of the father or the paternal side, or anything which points to the institution like shall we say United Nations, or the coming together of all the countries like a federal government. So these are all of that form. And monkey, for a while, is being dreaded or something that people are afraid of, because sometimes they connote negative issues or negative aspect. But in reality, or in the Feng Shui sense of explaining things, monkey is much weighted to balance everything, or to balance all the 10 elements involved in a house, in a building, or even in the physical form of humans. And when metal is weakened, metal is to be confronted. How? By producing earth. Because in the cycle of creation, metal is formed out of earth. And in the cycle of destruction, metal is confronted and clashed, sometimes with fire or sometimes with water. So there are elements which are compatible to one another, or there may be clashes or confronting, impacting one another. Like, for example, when water is being evaporated or steamed, the water form is gone through the vapors. So it could be a cycle of destruction, but giving positive thing to humans, like the steam, the vapor, which may be needed in a sauna, or in steaming, like, let's say, the vegetables, or things that may be cooked by steaming, the steamed fish, shall we say. So in that idea, when we buy something, an idea that may be confronted with metal, the only thing that metal may be confronted with fire is that that fire is impacted by water, or by water too. Water is sometimes creative and sometimes destructive. When we open a stove and put a kettle of water in it and let it boil, then later on you will drink hot water or hot coffee or hot tea, for that matter. So it will give a creative thing to the one who drinks the coffee or the tea. But sometimes it can create scalding or burning, or the skin of human persons may be burned. So that's one of a situation wherein water may be impacted because it will create negative thing on humans. Shall we say thing, or shall we say an item that is not available for us to explain as of these modern times? Because during the time when Feng Shui notes or Tong Shu or anything like that when explained, these are of ancient times. And in modern times, too few of the Feng Shui experts explain or are explaining about this. So nevertheless, we are all learning and studying or investigating what is best for our humanities or humans. Or will this be a better use, or will this be distracting or destroying our nature? Slowly and slowly, we have to be very aware and be very alerted that all the notes that were written and all Feng Shui experts who are bookish may lead to a pitfall that those things do not exist anymore. Just like what holds true yesterday may not hold true in modern times or nowadays or in present times. That's why we have to adjust, like cars. Cars may be hybrid, or cars may not be using the usual petrol or gasoline. That is why they may be form of digitalized car, or shall we say electric car, or shall we say a car that is run by a remote control. And this will happen in a future time. We may not be aware of it, but they are, or we are going to that point of time wherein, like now, or not like nowadays, water is being sold and we buy water. Why is that so? Because times are changing. We cannot hold to the past. Like a pager may be of use during the time, but in this 2020s, they have no use at all. Or a car or something that we use for cutting, like shears or scissors, they are advancing. and even technologies are advancing. The Android that we have today may not be of use for us in a future time, because maybe holograms will be now the modern technique or technology. So the idea of human dynamism is we have to adjust, we have to be abiding with the times, we have to be alerted that things are moving forward. Like, shall we say, genetics. Genetic engineering are all over, and even the GMO, or the genetically motivated organism, is making its breakthrough in all fields. Even in agriculture, even in planting, or in harvesting things, or even in the modern technological farming. So, the bottom line, or the highlighted idea all along with this, is we have to adjust, we have to adapt, we have to abide with the times.